Right now on Denver 7 News at 7 o'clock on Local 3, coronavirus cases are on the rise once again in Colorado, but it's no surprise to health experts.
So there's been a lot of parties and a lot of gatherings, I think, that have been going on that are probably perpetuating some of this spread.
The steps we can all take as we head into summer to slow the spread.
Stunning testimony from a Capitol Hill police officer calling what happened on January 6th carnage and chaos.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I was slipping in people's blood.
We're breaking down more testimony and newly released video as the committee prepares to hold another hearing Monday morning.
Also staying cool and safe with temperatures expected to hit the 90s this weekend. We do have some reminders before you splash into whatever water you can find to stay cool, but we want the water to be a fun place, not a scary place this summer. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Jessica Crawford. Meteorologist Stacy Donaldson has the first look at your Denver 7 forecast. Stacy?
It looks great out there this morning. We have beautiful blue skies overhead, but all that sunshine leading to warm temperatures today. We'll be at 92 in Littleton, 94 in Denver, and 93 in Aurora for our afternoon highs today, way above where we should be this time of year, which is 82 degrees, our average afternoon high, and getting much closer to those records, which are in the upper 90s for the next few days. Temperatures in the 90s here from Denver to Highlands Ranch into Parker, 94 Platteville, and 90s up 76 all the way into northeastern Colorado with 70s and 80s off to our west. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect for about another hour for the eastern portion of Colorado and a heat advisory out west toward Grand Junction. That heat advisory meaning that we'll see temperatures around 100 plus over the weekend. But here in Denver, we're looking at 90s. I'll have your weekend forecast in a few minutes.
And we do have those foggy conditions out to the eastern plains, so limited visibility. Could be a little bit wet on I-70. Right now, the one problem spot we've had, not a huge delay, not worth an alternate route, is taking northbound I-25 here at 225. From the camera over there, looking across, this is the southbound side. You can see that we had an earlier car fire that's still being cleaned up right now. They have a tow truck in there, hopefully get all lanes open in just a little bit. But the narrow, the real skinny left shoulder is really not allowing a lot of room, so they are working in that left lane as well. The drive time right now is only an extra minute coming up to the Denver Tech, through the Denver Tech Center to downtown. But the rest of the drive, it's better than average, pretty typical for a Friday. Not seeing a really huge, heavy stop and go traffic around town right now, which is really helping us out. But we will see some more volume as the morning continues.
The Avs are back on the ice to practice for the Stanley Cup final, and we are happy to see one player make a comeback. Goalie Darcy Kemper is returning to practice. The team says that he's 100% recovered from the upper body injury that kept him out of the last round.
So as the city of Denver gets ready to welcome thousands of hockey fans downtown and host the Stanley Cup games, COVID cases are rising once again. Say it ain't so. The CDC says every county across the metro has high transmission right now. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon joins us because this is not what we want to hear.
Never what I want to hear, Brian, but summer's basically here. There have been parties, gatherings, celebrations happening. So this increase isn't really a shock to people in the healthcare world. And honestly, with the ebb and flow of this virus, it's something most of us have learned to expect. Right now, it's unclear if the Denver Department of Public Health and Environment will be implementing a new mask order for the city, but UC Health recommends them in large crowds, especially if you're indoors. And as we've said before, being vaccinated and boosted decreases your chance of getting very sick. Doctors say these measures, more than 2 years into the pandemic, are to ensure we don't overwhelm our healthcare systems like we've seen in the past.
We are seeing an increase in hospitalizations, and so it's sort of ticking up slowly. And so it's not like it was at the peak of December, January, when it was exploding. We're not even probably a fifth of the way there, but it's definitely rising.
The Stanley Cup final, obviously on all of Denver's mind right now. It's the next big thing on the calendar, and Ball Arena says they're working with local government and league leaders to keep up with all of the health and safety guidelines. They also say they're increasing their cleaning protocols. Live in Denver, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Thank you, Colette. All the precautions right now. Meanwhile, the FDA Advisory Committee is meeting Tuesday and Wednesday To talk about COVID vaccines for kids under 5, versions from Pfizer and Moderna still need a federal approval. If both the FDA and CDC give their okays, vaccinations should start later this month.
The second round of the hearings on the January 6th attack on the Capitol are set for Monday at 8 a.m. our time. Last night in prime time, the committee's co-chair called the attack a culmination of an attempted coup by former President Donald Trump and his allies. He accused them of spreading lies and threatening American democracy. ABC's Faith Abube has highlights from the historic hearing.
For nearly 2 hours in prime time, the bipartisan House Select Committee investigating the January 6 Capitol attack used dramatic video and witness testimony, placing former President Trump at the center of a violent and failed conspiracy.
Donald Trump, the President of the United States, spurred a mob of domestic enemies of the Constitution to march down the Capitol and subvert American democracy.
The panel describing the January 6 riot as a culmination of a brazen attempt at a coup.
Donald Trump oversaw and coordinated a sophisticated 7-part plan to overturn the presidential election.
Vice Chair Republican Liz Cheney describing how a month after Trump lost the November 2020 election, his former national security advisor Michael Flynn, advisor Rudy Giuliani, and attorney Sidney Powell met at the White House over how to use the military to seize voting machines. Even though testimony by those in Trump's inner circle, including daughter Ivanka Trump, then Attorney General Bill Barr, and campaign advisor Jason Miller, made clear Trump was told he lost the election.
The idea of saying the election was stolen and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was
The January 6 panel accusing Trump of energizing far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, along with thousands of his supporters to storm the U.S. Capitol. Capitol Police Officer Caroline Edwards, seen on this newly released video, knocked out by rioters, testifying that it was a war scene.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I was slipping in people's blood. It was carnage. It was chaos.
And aware of the rioters' chance to hang Mike Pence, the president responded with this sentiment, quote, "Maybe our supporters have the right idea."
Dozens of Coloradans are facing charges in connection with January 6th. The charges range from low-level misdemeanors for those who entered the Capitol to felony seditious conspiracy charges against far-right extremists. We'll continue following the January 6th hearings on our website, thedenverchannel.com, and the Denver 7 Plus mobile app.
Well, with temperatures expected in the 90s across the Front Range this weekend, we're all looking for ways to stay cool. And for some of us, that's heading to our neighborhood pool or even our state's beautiful lakes and rivers. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us from Clear Creek in Golden with reminders about how to stay safe out there.
Officials are really trying to drive home the message that this year it is really important to be safe whenever you're around a body of water. Particularly, that's because we saw snow rather later in the time this year than we did last year. That means water could have more debris. It could also move faster. It also means that water is a bit colder, so that's why officials are recommending you either wear a wetsuit or some thermal clothing. You should also wear a life jacket. That goes without saying every single year. In 2020, a record 34 people died from drowning in Colorado, and so far this year there have been 13 drownings. That puts us on track for another record year.
Most of our drownings are someone who's not wearing a life jacket or started in a life jacket that was not sized appropriately. And you can be the world's strongest swimmer, and if you get sucked into certain parts of this river, you are not going to be able to just swim your way out of it.
And two other recommendations from experts besides just wearing that life jacket and making sure that it fits properly are putting a whistle on it so you can use that in case you're in trouble at any point while you're in or near a body of water, and then carrying a knife as well. If you're in places like Clear Creek, water can get a bit bumpy. If there's some sort of netting that you might get caught on, you have easy access to be able to get that off of you with that knife. We're in Golden this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Good advice. Thank you, Veronica. Pride Month continues with a dance party at Denver's Meow Wolf tomorrow night.
Pride is a big deal. Like Demi was saying, Pride is a big deal for Meow Wolf. And that originated in Santa Fe. We always do something huge there, so we wanted to do something really big. This is our first Pride month, and so we wanted to do something really big.
Yeah, it's going to be a Vogue dance competition featuring the House of Flora. You can see the full list of Pride events on our website, thedenverchannel.com, on denverpride.org, rather.
Once a Bronco, always a Bronco. The new report hinting Peyton Manning might come back to his old team, but in a different role.
And a perfect way to exercise. A Denver yoga class is back with cats who need a home.